I'm coming at you with an ebook called Robin Hood's Dawn, Book 1. I'm pretty sure it's available in paperback, so paperback or hardcover as well, but I have it as an ebook. It's by Olivia Longville. So, as the title suggests, it is about the beginnings of Robin Hood and how Robin became the Robin Hood we know. So there's at the start there's a flowchart of William the Conqueror's descendants, fictional families in the Robin Hood trilogy. There's Royal Shields of England between 1066 to 1199, which is about the time frame of which this book is taking place. It is more in the 1100s time period, so it covers a few years. So it starts in 1154, goes to 1159, and then into the early 1160s. So it's not totally, to me, it's not totally off historically, but the historical part is not the focus. It's more character driven. So the places are there as as with a lot of books, it's a backdrop. It's not fully talked about, and for me, this book is really more character driven and pretty much drama driven. Really, just one thing after another kind of thing. So that's just not that's just my perspective of the book. Some people might have another perspective of it. So, but the whole historical part, not just on the places, but it's how people thought, the views on women, kind of inferior kind of thing, and they're the view of marriages and all this other, and a few other things. So I'm like, okay, at least you got that kind of essence, not this alternate universe kind of thing, which isn't bad. But if you're going to do a thing about Robin Hood, don't fully alternate the story like a lot of us grew up on. So, though a lot of us are kind of used to the Disney version of it, but if you have read or seen other versions of the telling of Robin Hood, this isn't, to me, this isn't far off from them. So, as I mentioned, it's a backstory of what led Robin Hood to what we know. And throughout the book, he is a lord. He wasn't fully denounced of being a lord when he went into the forest for what he was accused of and all this. So there's altercations. It does alternate between Robin and this guy named Guy Grisborne, which they kind of are in battle, not battle, but protagonist and antagonist of this book, because Guy wants Marian to be his wife, and in this book, his name, Robin's name, actual name is Robert, so there is that. So there'll be more in the very beginning, it'll be Robert, but after that first mention, it goes into Robin. So, and like a lot of Robin Hood tales, though I haven't read many, there is Marian, and you get an introduction to her. She is a third main character in this book. You also get an introduction to 3 of the merry men, Little John being the first one that you meet, and the 3 are within the book as well. So I like not a huge like there's slight spoilers in here, but the reason why Robin and Guy are at it is because Guy wants Marian. And I'm not going into, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So, it's a slight fall, like, in this book, it's a slight fall from him being a lord, but, like, again, he's still being called a lord throughout the book. So, and it's just the relationship between Robin and Marian and what they go through within those few years of, it's not just him in the forest, him and her in the forest. There are other events that take place. So, it's not just how Robin survives in the woods. He is out of the woods in many situations in the book. It's an interesting take on the story of Robin Hood. You do get familiar characters like King Henry, Prince John, and Richard. Like, you do see a relationship or interaction between Robin and Guy, Marian, Richard as well. And it's kind of like diplomatic in a way between Richard and Robin. So, and like, the last few chapters, oh my goodness, it's very interesting how Olivia does the last few chapters of this book, because it is a trilogy. So, there's that, and at the end there is a glossary, and you don't see many glossaries in chapter books or like young adult books, but you also don't see like the flow charts and shields in young adult books too. So there is that kind of like, you learn a little something, but there's that fiction to it, and you gotta recognize that this is a work of fiction. So, yeah, it's very interesting to have, like, I liked it, I enjoyed it, like, it's not in, like, my top 5, but I would recommend it for those who enjoy, like, Robin Hood. It is, and for those who don't like Robin Hood, it's a very interesting read. Not like interesting, like, it's, like, to me, for some it might be jumpy. There is that. For some it might be jumpy, but there is that start to end kind of thing, and it's the starting point of Robin Hood. So I'm gonna end it there before I get really weird than I already am. So, Robin Hood's Dawn, Book 1 by Olivia Longville. Happy readings.